let me thank the brother for a very gracious introduction. I'm honored to be here. I do want to acknowledge Apostle Charlene Crossley from the beginning, almost 86 years young.
Not almost, and
86. And building the school and having gone there for now 22 times. Give it up to Apostle Crossley. Look, and let me say good afternoon and welcome to the 2025 Diaspora Africa Conference. I know you've had a number of speakers already today. Mayor Pro Tem Martha Tatum. I think you just heard from the Bishop, Bishop James Dixon, and I'm delighted to know that this conference has made its way back to Houston. It's the fourth one, started here in Houston, and then to Zanzibar, Accra, and now back in Houston again. So I'm very much delighted. And of course I want to thank the organizing committee's dedication to putting this conference together. So give it up to all the organizers. I have always been proud of this city in so many ways, but I highlight everywhere I go the diversity of our city, the inclusivity of our city, because it's one thing to be diverse, but you can be diverse, separate, segregated, and apart. And the question is, can we be diverse, cherish our cultural legacy, recognize where we come from, and seek equitable treatment and be inclusive at the same time. So for those who are attacking diversity, equity, and inclusion, those are relics from the past. And we have to stand up and fight that every single day. So this conference is critically important. We recognize how vital it is to encourage trade and promote cultural exchanges, especially with Africa. And the people in this city should recognize that more so than anyone. We have a large African population right here in the city of Houston. The Nigerian population may be the largest in the country, right here in the city. But collectively, so much has been received by the city. The fact that the African community is large, dynamic, vibrant, makes this the great city that it is. But we also recognize people didn't just start here. And whether you were born in this city or moved here to this city, for us, we go back to Africa, which is our homeland. I'll never forget when I went to Africa for the first time in the 1990s. We were meeting with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce about heading, they didn't know we were heading to Africa. And a couple of the folks said to me and the others in the group, when you go to Africa, we know you're African Americans. Don't expect to be, how do they put it? Let me just say, warmly received. Now I'm listening to them. So they say, don't expect to, just be warmly received. Just because you're black headed to Africa. So we just want to alert you to that. We think it'll be a wonderful experience, but understand, just because you're an African American here, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be warmly received. Now we were with a group of legislators from Texas. In fact, the Speaker of the Texas House of Representatives, conservative, white, Republican, was also a part of this trip. So when we get to Africa, and in this case, it was South Africa at that time, and arrived, got there, I cannot tell you how warmly received we were. Now, I'm not talking about the other people in my delegation. I'm talking about us black folk. And the first thing that was said to us, welcome home, my brother. And I cannot tell you how that made me feel. We got into the hotel, got situated. We were getting ready to go to an event. And we needed some transportation. Now, the Speaker of the Texas House, white guy, conservative, was already downstairs trying to line up the transportation. Now here, I come down, talking to the concierge, and was telling him, where I needed to go. So the concierge turns to me, and he said, my brother, we got you. And I said, well, it's not just me, it's my group that I'm with. And he says, well, where are they? I said, it's these people over here. He said, they're with you? I said, yeah, I'm a part of this group. So he says, come. You with him? We take good care of everybody. And so when we got into this van, the Speaker of the House said to me, he said, you must have known him already. I said, yeah, I've known him for a long time. So he said, well, when did you meet him? I said, well, I personally met him when you met him. But my connection is much deeper than yours. And a connection that has not been broken. And so what I said to him, now you're getting a little feel of how I felt when I was in America. But the connection here has never been broken. I said, Tom, I am back home. And it feels good to be back home. The Houston Galveston Customs District is the second busiest gateway for U.S.-African trade by value, and Houston is home, again, to one of the largest African communities in the country. During my time as mayor of the city of Houston, I had the pleasure of kicking off the city's first ever Africa Day in 2017. Now, it started with a small group of about 90, some of you are here, at City Hall in the legacy room. Over the next 6 years, with the exception of COVID year, it grew and grew every year. It got to the point that City Hall could no longer hold everyone. And so we left from City Hall and went to the George R. Brown. We had as many as 15 ambassadors from the African continent to come and be a part of Africa Day. People from the African continent joined in. So much so that even the people in D.C. heard about what we were doing right here in the city of Houston. And then I had the privilege of leading several trade and investment missions. We decided, well, let me back up. The mayor of Abobo, Cote d'Ivoire, came to visit Houston on a trade mission. She came by the mayor's office and met with me. She said, Mr. Mayor, I hope in due time that you will bring a trade delegation to Africa and specifically to Cote d'Ivoire. That meeting was like about in May. And I said, we will work on it and see. We decided to go to Africa again in July of 2023. Cote d'Ivoire, Nigeria, and Ghana. We first stopped in Nigeria. I cannot tell you how warmly we were received. We met with people of the Diaspora Commission there. We had an opportunity to talk to a number of the ministers. We talked about trying to establish a more direct flight from Houston to Nigeria. And we talked about opening a consular office in the city of Houston. They have one in Atlanta, but not here in the city of Houston. Those conversations continued until the time that I left. We then went to, and let me tell you, people treated us royally. The love, the connection was so real. We said to myself when we left Nigeria, sure can't get any better than this. And then we went to Cote d'Ivoire. It was the mayor and the minister that came to Houston. I cannot tell you how warmly we were received. And the mayor of Abobo said to everyone that we met, we came to Houston. The mayor said he would come to Africa. But we did not think they would be coming to Africa within 3 months of our visit to Houston. When I tell you this sister laid it out for the Houston delegation, we could not have been treated any better. In fact, they crowned me chief. That's a traditional title for dignitaries. We went to the governor's place, warmly received. And then at the end of the speech, we could hear this band playing. And they told me, follow us, Mr. Mayor. We go outside. And literally, there were thousands of people outside to greet us. And we walked up and down. I tell you, I felt like hell I was the president. But warmly received. And then we talking about joining with them in building a hospital in Cote d'Ivoire. Came back and visited with the people at the Texas Medical Center because it's important to establish a meaningful connection with the people in Africa. Not just visiting, but like Apostle Crossley did, building schools, helping to build hospitals, utilizing the black talent that we have here, working in relationship with our brothers and sisters in Africa. It has to be a win-win. It can't be a win-lose, where for so many centuries, people have taken from Africa without leaving things behind. We take the minerals. We take those things that benefit our country and others. But we don't help to establish the talent that's already there. And it's important that we do that. And then, when we left Cote d'Ivoire, I thought it couldn't get any better than that. So we went on to Ghana. And when we arrived at the airport in Ghana, we had the group out there meeting us, the dance troops. I mean, it could not have been better. To go to the door of no return. And we were about 2.5 hours away. Let me tell you what those brothers and sisters did. They picked us up, and for 2.5 hours, we had a police escort all the way there. and a police escort all the way back. It was incredible. If I had any doubt that we would be received that way, all of that went out of the window. In fact, I was so warmly, we were so warmly received. I was tempted to stay a little bit longer. And in Ghana, we met with the Ambassador Bennett, head of the diaspora there, who encouraged me as mayor of the fourth largest city in the United States to encourage other mayors, specifically black mayors, to bring their delegation to Africa as well. It's one thing when you go. It's another thing when we encourage others to go and give and receive to one another. And since then, I've encouraged African American mayors all over the United States to take the time, make it a part of our agenda. Because you can build your city when you establish and build on these connections. Because quite frankly, the diaspora is all over the world. And in every city in the United States, there are people from Africa. And whether or not you were born there or not, the connections still exist. When I left being mayor of the city of Houston, and then became congressperson of the 18th Congressional District, I said to my team, I want to maintain those connections and those trade relationships. So what I have done for several of the key people who were part of the mayor's staff, Department of Trade and International Affairs, with all due respect to the city of Houston, I have taken them away and who are now with me. Mazda from Benin was with the city my entire 8 years, a part of the mayor's trade and international affairs team. Mazda from Benin is now with me in the 18th Congressional District. Jessica, who was a part of the mayor's trade and international team for my 8 years, Jessica is now with me. Jose speaks 5 languages, a part of the team at the city. Jose is now with me. The point that I want to make, when we establish these relationships, it's important for these relationships to continue. I learned a great deal as mayor at the city level. Now I'm at the federal level. And those connections and relationships need to continue now at the federal level. And I've asked them to come aboard to enhance the relationships from a federal perspective. Because it's important for our U.S. leaders to understand the value of continuing investments and trade on Africa. We cannot ignore Africa. A growing population, a young population, highly talented, and it's important for us to invest and trade in a real way. And it's important for Africans, Americans here, to go back right now this week. A group that I was talking to about our trip is right now in Ghana, having a wonderful, wonderful time. So the connection is real. So I want to thank everyone. I want to thank the committee. I want to thank you that is back here in the city of Houston. If any city should lead the way in the diaspora, it should be the city of Houston. It should be the city. And then let me just say, it takes all of us working together. Black, white, and brown, you name it. But all of us working together.